What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with each of you to find out why in the world you want to sell from home or the beach. That's a crazy idea, as I'm calling you from Hawaii and I live in Florida.
Wow.
And it's exactly, let's see what time it is, 9:05. I've already eaten lunch today. I'm on such a crazy time schedule change. I got up this morning at 2 because it's really 7, which is my normal time to get up. So, Phyllis, why did you want to join this webinar?
Well, I love to travel and I do, so this would just make working so much easier.
So, do you work from home right now?
Yes,
Okay. Is most of your business done from home?
most of it, yeah.
When you go to a listing appointment, do you actually physically go to the appointment or do you do it all through DocuSign?
No, to date I've physically gone.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
What's the
that's a change.
what's the farthest you've ever driven to a listing appointment?
Probably a couple hours.
Oh my God. Okay. You're going to enjoy this. Valerie, you're next.
I work from home mostly.
Okay.
I have 3 kids, so I would like to be able to do as much as I can from home. But, and also, who wouldn't want to work at the beach?
No
It's
kidding.
a rough life. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of where I actually live and let y'all. Well, I'll probably do that later because I don't want you to be pissed off at me right this early in the session. Um, Valerie, when you go to, do you mostly work with buyers or sellers?
Well, I am new, so I mostly have buyers right now, but I do have a couple listings coming up that I will go to.
What's the farthest you would drive to a listing appointment?
I think it would depend on the listing.
Okay, so 1 million.
I would probably go a couple hours for that.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna pick on Cherie because I can see you, and you're the only one that's bold enough to have your picture like all of the rest of us. Cherie, you know where I'm going with this because you've been to several of my webinars before. You're mostly a buyer's agent or listing agent?
Buyers, this is going to be my first listing coming up.
Oh my God. How far are you going to drive?
Well, it's not far. It's probably 30 minutes from me.
So you're going to drive it?
Well, if I don't know if I'm even going to need to
Okay.
by the end of this class.
Well,
Barbara?
I'd like to know, where is everybody?
Well, hold on. Phyllis,
I'm in Houston.
I got this. Just hold on. We're going to get to that.
Okay, sorry.
Phyllis is now doing the webinar. Okay.
No, I was being curious.
Bertus, you're in the Ukraine right now, right?
Correct.
Are you selling in the United States or in the Ukraine?
I'm selling in the United States in Missouri and Florida.
Now, how in the world are you going to sell from a different country to 2 different states? How do you plan to do this?
Use the tools that you teach us during this webinar.
Good answer. You go.
My wife's Ukrainian, and I have to go back and forth right now. So I spend a lot of money, a lot of time traveling back and forth for my job.
And how many listings do you have right now?
15.
And how did you get those listings? Did you physically go to each listing or did you DocuSign them?
Probably about 50% of them I went to. The other 50 is from referrals and is DocuSign.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to like you, Bertus, the best, and so forth. Lisa Heichel, are you mostly a buyer's agent or listing agent?
I've had one listing and mostly buyers.
So why not more listings than buyers?
Yeah, I'd like to get more listings.
Okay. What's keeping you from getting more listings?
I work quite a bit as a massage therapist.
Okay. All right, John Shelby.
That's pretty much how I'm meeting people.
Okay. All right, perfect. I think you're going to enjoy this too. John Shelby, are you mostly a buyer's agent or listing agent?
It's about 50-50 right now, actually. So I do about 50%, on both sides.
And what's the farthest you would drive to a listing appointment?
Well, right now that's actually what's been wearing me out. I've got 3 listings that are over an hour away that are farm and ranch. And I live in Dallas proper, so dealing with traffic's a nightmare.
Okay, so here's the deal. The reason that I did set up this whole webinar series is because what I'm going to talk about today is to get y'all on a system where you can make phone calls that shows up in the caller ID of the area that you're calling, and to make more phone calls than you've ever made in your life to get more listings. Would you agree that the more people you call, the higher probability that you'll have of getting more listings? Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of large numbers.
So in order to get, let me ask you this. What do you think the maximum number that you could physically call people, how many people do you think you could call in one day? You doing it the way you've been doing it so far. Let's pick on Valerie. Valerie, how many people do you think you could call in one day?
I don't know, maybe 10?
10 maximum?
I don't know.
I guess you haven't made phone calls lately, have you?
I do mostly text.
Text.
Text mostly, yes.
Okay. And so if you're going to go after a listing, are you going to text them or are you going to call them?
No, I would call them.
So if you had to call people, how many do you think you could get in one day?
In one whole day, I don't know, I might be able to do 25.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Phyllis, how many people do you think you could call in one day if you're going after listings?
Well, depending on how long the conversation was, I don't know, 60 to 100.
Okay, good answer. Vertus, your situation is a little bit different
I was going to
because
say
of
about,
the country.
I would have to say probably around 100.
100 in one day.
Yes.
Cherie?
Maybe 50, between 50 and 100.
Okay. Lisa?
It depends if you get a hold of them. Are you just leaving messages for these people? Because not everybody's going to answer.
You tell me the situation. You get to answer.
I would say probably 30 to 40 calls a day.
Okay. And John Shelby, how many do you think you could make in one day?
Between 50 to 100, and that's actually what I'm averaging right now.
Okay. So if you notice that I'm talking a lot about listings and I'm not really talking a lot about buyers, the reason is that there's no physical way for you to work from the beach if you're working with buyers. Plus, if you have kids like Valerie does, it's almost impossible to run a family and deal with kids and work with buyers unless your kids are, spending most of their days away from you. Then by the time you get home, they're looking at you going, I recognize you. I think I've seen you somewhere before. And that's what you don't want that kind of life, do you, Valerie? So really the listings is where it's at. If you want to make a significant amount of money, you've got to go after more listings. Then as your business grows, you can build a team and get a buyer's agent to take care of your listings. So going back to the phone calls, I'm going to show you a system that I'm using where I can make about 200 calls per hour. That kind of blows out Valerie's theory of 10 in one day.
Yeah.
So let me do a share screen real quick. Okay, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, now this company that I'm using is called salesdialers.com. If you look at the left-hand side right there, don't go to it yet because I want you to kind of follow along from what I'm trying to show you. But if you remember this company, salesdollars.com, I run a 4-line dollar, which means that I'm going to hit about 4 lines at one time. So here's what happens. I'm going to call a listing and I'm going to talk to Lisa. Me and Lisa are on the phone. We're talking about listing the house. And in the background, my system here through Sales Dollars is calling Valerie, Cherie, and Vertus all at the same time. As I'm talking to Lisa, Valerie's going to get a phone call from me. And when she picks up the phone, she's going to hear a voicemail that says, hello, hello, can you hear me? Hold on, I'm in a bad area. Let me call you right back. It's going to disconnect from Valerie. It's then going to move to Cherie. Cherie's going to hear a voicemail when she picks up that says, hello, hello, can you hear me? Let me call you right back. Then Vertus is going to get a phone call from me. Vertus is going to hear a wonderful voicemail that says, hello, can you hear me? Let me call you right back. Because what's happening is when I get done talking to Lisa, when I'm through, it's going to transfer me straight to Valerie's phone number, and the system is going to call her next. Then when I'm done with Valerie, it's going to call Cherie. Then when I'm done with Cherie, it's going to call Vertus. Does that make sense? So it's always rotating in the background while I'm talking on the phone. When I'm done with Lisa, when I'm done talking to Lisa about a listing, I'm going to send up an automated email that's going to say, thank you for talking to me today about listing your house. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever. It's going to allow me to make notes about her listing in this program here so that when I call her back, I'll have notes right here on the screen when I can call her. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because you can use this if you have internet, which I've got a Wi-Fi device where I can get internet connection. I bought a generator to go with my laptop. So what we do is we take our laptop, we take the Wi-Fi device, we take a generator, and I plug my laptop to the generator. My cell phone has a USB port, so I can plug my cell phone to the generator, and we've got Wi-Fi connection all there at the beach. So I can literally make phone calls from the beach and call different areas of the state. Now, the reason that I asked you how far you would drive to a listing appointment, as I've told many people this, and Cherie's heard this, I haven't been to a listing appointment in over 10 years. What that means is that when I get a listing, I'm going to send everything through DocuSign, get them to sign the paperwork, get them to email it back to me after they hit the submit button. It's going to come back to me, then I'm going to list the property without going out there. But going back to Sales Dollars, let me show you how this thing works. What you'll do is you'll create a campaign, that's what they call it, and you will download your list of names and telephone numbers in the campaign. So you can call it, let's just say if you farm a neighborhood, we'll call it Farm Area 1. How do you most of y'all go after listings? Do you farm neighborhoods, call for sale by owners? How are you doing it right now?
I do for sale by owners almost exclusively.
For what state?
For Missouri,
Are you calling the entire state of Missouri?
I farm specific areas, lake areas, recreational properties.
Now, Vertus, you're licensed in the entire state of Missouri, right?
Correct.
So why aren't you going after the whole state?
Because I haven't joined all the different MOSs in the entire state.
You don't need to. You know that you don't
Okay.
need to, right?
Well, if it's not getting syndicated to certain markets.
I can show you. I'm going to show you how to do that too.
Okay.
So let's say that Vertus lists a property in what? Give me a city that you're going after, Vertus.
Springfield.
Okay, and tell me a city that's 5 hours away from you.
St. Louis.
All right, so you're calling people in Springfield. I mean, you're calling St. Louis. All right. So let's just assume that Valerie is a realtor in St. Louis, and you get a listing in St. Louis, but you're not going to drive there. So you get this listing, you send the paperwork, you put it on your MLS in Springfield. You're going to call Valerie and say, hey, Valerie, how would you like to have a free listing? So Valerie, here's the deal. I'm going to work with you. If you will put it in your MLS, I'm going to put you as a co-listing agent. You're going to get 0 commission on the listing. But if you bring a buyer, which means I want you to put up a sign in front of that house because it's your city. If you put up a sign and a lot box, any buyers that you get on this listing, you get all of the buyer's commission. Valerie, would you take me up on that deal?
Are you asking me like,
Yes.
to answer?
Let's just say that you're living in St. Louis.
Probably. I mean, I think that I would want a little more of the co-listing.
You're getting all the buyers. 100%.
But what if somebody else brings a buyer, then I get nothing.
What?
If somebody else brings a buyer, I get nothing.
That's right. But you're going to co-list it on your MLS. So it's going to show up as your listing because you're putting it in a different MLS. You're going to put up a sign so any buyers calls, they come to you. You don't have to pay Vertus anything in referral if you get any buyers. So if you get 5 buyers off that sign, all of those buyers are yours.
That's true. That is true.
So do you think you would take him up on that deal?
I probably would, yes.
Vertus, would that bother you to put her as a co-listing agent where she gets 0 on the listing?
No, she can have the buyers all she wants.
And then you're okay with the fact that it's going to be on 2 MLSs.
I'm perfectly okay. That's the problem with that I've run into by myself is I'll have one in, say, Springfield, Missouri, and then I'll list one, say, in Columbia, Missouri, which is a different MLS, and it's not getting the coverage or not getting the exposure.
This is how you can do that. You don't have to be, all of y'all can go after the entire state that you're licensed in. There's a lot of realtors, and I would say about 99% of the realtors out there in the world are going after listings only in their local area. They're not going after listings all over the entire state that they're licensed in. This is the way that you can cover the entire state, make 200 calls an hour, keep a database of all your notes of people, and make calls, have automatic emails go out every time you call somebody. So if you increased your phone call count, I think, Cherie, you said 50 phone calls in one day? I can't hear you.
50 to 100.
So if I could show you a way to go from 50 to 100 to 200 per hour, which would come out to about 6 hours in a day. If you spent all one day a week, just one day a week, doing nothing but making phone calls, you could easily hit about 800 people in one day. What kind of difference do you think you would have on listings then?
A huge one.
So how many listings do you have right now?
Possibly 1.
And how many phone calls did you make to get that one listing?
None.
It was a referral to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the other question, because many of you are not even calling people that you know. How many people do you know, Cherie?
At least 100.
At least 100?
Yeah, probably more than that.
Bull. That's crap. That's crap.
I have
You're
lots of
You're not,
coworkers and
you're not
Facebook
telling me
friends.
the truth. Right, exactly. How many people are on Facebook? Friends
well.
of yours on Facebook?
Probably 200 or more.
That's all you've got? Give me check this out because we can let everybody see how many friends you got because I'm fixing to call you out.
Okay.
200 is what you're telling me?
Probably more than that.
How many do you think there is?
But I mean, friends.
No. Friends on Facebook.
Oh, probably 4 or 5, and maybe 5 on Instagram.
Back up. How many friends do you have on Facebook
Go to it.
in your friends list? Oh my God, you're killing me. Oh, geez. Hold on. Let me move this stupid thing here. Facebook. Are we friends on Facebook?
I think so. I hope so.
I think I blocked you. I'm just kidding.
That's me.
Okay, where are you? Sorry, I'm fixing to embarrass you.
No,
Oh, there you are.
that's me.
Uh-huh.
That's my personal one.
Yeah, okay. So let's look at friends. I can't see how many friends you have. We're not friends. You don't like me.
Then add me as a friend and I'll accept you right now.
I'm maxed out. I can't. Okay, so how many friends do you have on Facebook? That's
Here,
my question.
I'm going to look. Look.
And while
There's
she's looking,
427 in chat, it looks like.
how many?
At the bottom of the screen you're showing, it says chat 427.
Well, that's mine. That's not her.
Oh, okay.
All right, so since you said something, Sheree, while you're looking, Valerie, how many friends do you have on Facebook?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I should have pulled it up.
It's coming. Everybody's going to get hit today.
I have 417.
And how many of those are realtors?
I don't know, but a lot of them are.
Like 90%, 80%?
I would say maybe 75, 80%.
And you said how many?
I have 417.
Okay. 417 times 80%. And 80% are realtors?
Maybe. I have a lot of realtors.
All right, so that leaves 20% of regular people, non-realtors. That leaves you 83 people. If you're only calling 10 people a day, you still got 83 more people to call, 73 more people to call, just from Facebook.
Actually, one of my leads came from Facebook. My
There you
listing.
go. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of you, and I'm just as guilty as y'all, will stay away from people on Facebook because we don't want to intrude. Well, when was the last time you got a phone call from anybody on Facebook, anybody, that asked you to do business with them? Not an instant message or not a text, but an actual phone call. I don't know if y'all have seen one of these things before. There's this little green button. You see that little green button right there? It's got a phone. You know what that thing does? It calls people. It's awesome. It's a new technology that just came out. If you actually pick up the phone and call people and talk to them, they might do business with you. Or else you could find out if they know of anybody that wants to sell their house. So the reason I'm going on all this is because I want y'all to realize that you could be doing all of this from a chair on the beach, making phone calls, sending out automated emails, because this system has a list of emails that you can set up. Can y'all still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to email templates, what I can do is I can send out emails, and I just select what email I want to send out to every campaign that I'm working with. If I'm working with investors, I can send out an email that goes out to investors. If I want to send out a email to for sale by owners, here's one that I can send out that says, it shows 3 properties that I sold to let them see that I actually do sell stuff. So what you do is with your campaigns of each people that you call, each section of people, you can set up an email template that goes out after that phone call so that you don't have to retype that email after every phone call. The reason that you're wasting time and not able to make a lot of phone calls is number one, you're leaving voicemails, you're talking and leaving voicemails. And even if that only takes 30 seconds, if you calculate 30 seconds times 200 calls per hour, that's a lot of time wasted just in leaving voicemails. What we do here is we set up automatic pre-recorded voicemails. So the voicemail that I'm going to leave if I'm calling for sale by owners is I'm going to say something like, hey, I was calling about your house. I got some questions for you. Can you call me back? It's already on caller ID, my number. So it's going to leave that voicemail and it's going to hang up. It's going to move on to the next call. Actually, what happens is while I'm on the phone and I'm talking to somebody, once I hang up or once I hear their voicemail, I hit a button and it leaves a voicemail on their voicemail while I'm calling the next number. This thing is so automated that everything is going on in the background while you're making your phone calls. So it's going to leave a voicemail automatically, and when I'm done with the phone call, it's going to then send an automatic email after that phone call. So let's say that I left somebody a message. Let's say that I called Valerie, and she's a prospect, and I got her voicemail. It's going to leave a email to her email, if I've got her email address, that says, hey, I tried to call you today. Can you call me back when you get a chance? So it's already set up, pre-programmed before I even start calling. All I got to do is just press the start button and start making calls. Does anybody have any questions about this?
Now, did you create your own templates, or is it part of this program? Or
I created my own. I created my own templates. Let me see if I can move one of these so I can show you. Okay, so here's one that I've got. It says sold for 10,000 more. So let me let y'all see what that looks like. Move this little doohickey. So here's one that I can send out after I'm talking to for sale by owner. Listed for 215, sold for 225. Yep, we are just that good. Licensed in all 250 counties in Texas. I'm going to promote to the general public that I'm licensed in every county in the state. Do you realize that most people don't know that you can sell in the entire state unless you tell them that? Then imagine what your home would sell for. And I've got my email signature. And when I'm talking to them, let's just say if I leave a message, I hit send, and that email automatically goes out after the phone call, or if I leave a voicemail. Any other questions, Vertus?
No, that's it.
So the cost of this program with sales dollars, so get ready for this. It's not cheap. It's not expensive either. It's about $110 a month. If you use a promo code, which is PROMO 628, it'll knock off $10 off your bill per month. So that's promo, PROMO 628. The name of the owner is Gary Prado, Prado. He's on Facebook all over the place. Any place that you're a member of the group, Gary's probably on that group. He's heavily into Facebook. He does a lot of talking to people through Instant Messenger. So it's not like you'll never have a problem getting a hold of Gary. He's very easy to talk to. I've talked to him on the phone many times. Corey is his son that does all the technology stuff. So if you have any questions about the technology, how to set it up, Corey can walk you through that. Also, if you go to YouTube, they have a YouTube channel that will show you how to set up the entire system, how to download names and telephone numbers into the program, how to set up automated voicemails, how to set up on-hold messages. That's the message where I said, hello, hello, can you hear me? That you do that. How to set up email campaigns. I've looked at many different phone dialers that are out there. There's one that's called Phone Dialer that will only do one line. I didn't like that. There's one called Mojo. Y'all probably heard of Mojo Dialer. That was expensive. It won't do 4 lines at a time. This one to me is probably does more and has the best price of any that I've seen at $110 a month. Any questions? Go ahead.
I have another question. Now, do you vet the do not call list from this site, or do you go to a different site to?
You can
to
do
vet
that. You can do that. Here's the way I look at the do not call list. Now, my thinking is kind of different than most people. If I'm calling somebody and they tell me that they don't want me to call them back, I'm just going to remove them off my deal so that I can never call them again. Now, what's cool is if I'm adding names and numbers, I can look up a number to make sure that I don't duplicate that number. Vertus, give me your phone number.
386-225-3494.
Let's see if you're in here. It's searching. And I don't have you in here. So what this does is that it will keep you from putting in duplicate telephone numbers. So let's say that you download a list from Craigslist or some other place and you put it into sales dollars, it won't allow for duplicate numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so just on that information there with sales dollars, do y'all see how something like this could benefit your business way different than what you're doing right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
John Shelby, you said that you want to do more listings. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you know, I don't mind buyers, but if I could work with more listings, that would be ideal.
So what kind of increase in business do you think you could have if you could hit 200 calls per hour?
Oh, I could probably, I mean, that's, if realistically, that's probably picking up a minimum of another 2 to 4 listings a month.
Right, exactly. Now, in what state are you in?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, that's right. You're in the DFW area.
Yeah.
And where are you getting your names and telephone numbers from?
I pulled a bunch out of Facebook previously, which I need to do again. And then I get a lot of them just from Google pay-per-click.
Are you doing, how are you pulling names and numbers from Facebook?
You're able to export your friends list.
Okay.
And if they've included a phone number in their profile, you're able to pull it off.
Did you hear that, Valerie?
Yes.
Cherie, did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, I've got 3,700 friends, but I would say only 10% of those are realtors. And that's on purpose.
Oh my God. Then that means that you've got over 3,000 people you can be calling to see if you can help them with any kind of real estate transaction.
Right. And I haven't been calling them. I've uploaded them to KV Core and they get pushed stuff through there, but I haven't directly been calling them, which I do need to do.
Dude,
And
take those 3,000, throw them into this system. You could hit all of those people in a week.
Yep, you're right.
Then set them up on an automatic email campaign based on whatever you set them up for. If you have a list of investors, you can set them up on an investor email campaign. There's so much you can do with this system. Phyllis,
Yes.
how many listings do you have right now?
One coming up, but that's it.
Okay. And how many calls are you making right now?
Oh, pitiful.
We're waiting for that number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so is anybody working for sell by owners or expireds?
I am.
Burris, you are?
Yes.
Anybody else?
I've worked FSBOs in the past, but I've just never been able to turn them.
How many times are you calling them?
Probably 3 or 4 on the when I was using Red X.
Okay, do you still have Red X?
No, I quit using them, but I made sure to download all my call lists before I got rid of it.
Okay, so let's talk about for sale by owners real quick. That's a good topic. Here's the way I feel about for sale by owners. And Cherise, again, this is like, I don't know why you came again, because you're going to hear this same stuff. Calling a for sale by owners is like the dating process. So let's pick on Valerie real quick. Valerie, when you and your husband, when y'all first started dating, on your first date, did your husband ask you to go to bed with him on the first date?
No,
Now, what would you have thought if he did that?
that I need to run.
Right. So, John, you're asking a for sale by owner to go to bed with you on the third date. Why in the world would they do that?
They might not be all there in the head then.
That's what you're hoping for, anyway. The way I feel about for sale by owners is exactly like the dating process. You've got to date them for a good while before you can expect them to list with you. Number one, they have to trust you. Number two, they have to see what's in it for them. All they care about, the only thing they care about is what's in it for them. They don't care about how long you've been in business. They don't care about how great you are or where you're going to market. All they care about is what you're going to do for them. And for them means how much money are they going to walk away with at closing. That most for sale by owners think that we do nothing. We put up a sign, we put it on MLS, and we walk away and pray that it sells. And that's not the case. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they don't see that we do. So you've got to get to a system where you're calling them at least 8 times before you can expect them to turn around and start listening to you. The way to do that is you've got to talk to them as if you have an interested buyer. Now, you don't have to tell them that you have a buyer, but you have to make them think that you possibly have a buyer and that you're getting leads that are coming through your website. And I mean, there's a whole process that I can teach you on how to do that. But 3 or 4 calls expecting a for sale by owner to list with you is absolutely crazy, and it's not going to happen. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if you start putting for sale by owners into a phone system where you can call them and don't even worry about how many times you've called them, call them till they tell you to go to hell or they block your number. That's what I believe. Just keep calling them. I know a realtor in the Dallas who used to be in the Dallas area that would call people every 2 days. Now, her name, you probably might not remember her name. She was with Remax, Marlene Grinsinger or something like that. Do you remember that name?
No.
Okay. She was strong, a strong agent. I thought she called way too many people, too often. But what you've got to do if you're going to start getting to the mindset of where you're going to have more listings, you've got to put people on some sort of phone system where you can make a bunch of calls in one day. And that's what this class is about today, is how to make more phone calls so that you can talk to more people. Valerie, if you keep making 10 calls a week, or 10 calls a day, you're not going to make it. You've got to increase your numbers big time, like in a massive way. Vertus, you've got 15 listings right now. By the end of this session, by the end of our 4th week, you should have at least 30 to 35 listings if you'll do what I tell you to do.
Okay.
And you can do that from the Ukraine without going to Missouri or Florida to get these listings. You're going to have to think bigger. You're going to have to go after the entire state, not just an area that you're working at. Capiche?
Capiche.
There you
Go
go.
big, go home.
Right. So let's pick on Lisa. Lisa Heichel. I haven't talked to you yet. I mean, I have, but just a little bit. Lisa, where do you live?
I'm in Navarre, Florida.
Wow, you're close to us. We live in Panama City Beach.
Oh, cool.
All right, so in Navarre, you've got that whole area that you could be called. And so what areas are you making phone calls?
Well, I just purchased Red X and I haven't really done a whole lot of phone calls in the past, so it's all new to me.
How much are you paying for Red X?
The first month is free and then it's like $90 a month.
Oh my God.
Why?
So you're paying for leads.
Pretty much.
So if I could show you a way to get free leads emailed to you every day, free, would you want to pay $90 a month?
No.
All right. So if you're doing massage therapy and you're doing real estate, how are you realistically going to call a whole bunch of people?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Are you going to set up one day a week to make phone calls? Or are you
Yeah,
going to try to spread it out?
I mean, I could do maybe 10 on the days that I'm doing massage therapy, but I have 2 days off during the middle of the week. So that's when the majority of the calls would happen.
Do you have kids?
No, they're grown.
Okay. So realistically, you could make calls all day long on 2 days a week.
I could.
Okay. So next week, here's what we're doing. Cherie, I'm sorry. You get to see this again. I'm going to show y'all how to get free leads. And for Lisa and Vertus, because Lisa, you're in Florida. Vertus, you're also Florida. John Shelby, you'll like this because you're in Texas. And I know the numbers. John, I'm going to show you how to get 900 to 1,000 free leads per week. Vertus and Lisa in Florida, I'm going to show you how to get about 700 to 800 free leads per week. Valerie, where are you located?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. I have no idea what the numbers are in West Virginia. Phyllis, where are you?
Houston.
Texas. You're also going to get about 900 to 1,000 leads per week.
Woohoo!
Cherie, you're in Chicago, right? Did we ever do numbers on your stuff when we did this before? You know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
What kind of numbers did you have?
I was getting like 5 or 6, maybe
100?
more.
Five,
Uh-huh.
600.
Oh yeah.
And then I ask you how many people you've called and you've got access to free leads. Have you lost your mind?
No, it's not that. Remember, I was still working a full-time job. I just
Oh,
stopped.
okay. All right. All right. So we're kind of wrapping down, and I'm gonna let the last 10 minutes be for questions. But next week, plan on how to get free leads. Let me write that down. Free leads. Okay. Any questions on what we talked about today? Anybody?
So you're going to show us how to get the free leads?
Next week.
Oh, next week. Okay.
I don't have time for it today. It's going to take a full hour next week.
Is there something actionable that we should do between now and then?
Go ahead and enroll in Sales Dollars or some system like that because you're going to need it.
Okay.
if you plan to make phone calls. If you plan to not make any phone calls, sales dollars is going to be a waste of money.
Gotcha.
But if you really are serious about being able to sell from anywhere, sell from home, sell from the beach, wherever, you're going to need some sort of system like sales dollars so that you can make a buttload of calls every single day. So I would say go ahead and roll, use the promo code, promo 628, and get that thing set up so that we can have, because I'm going to show you next week how to get the names and numbers. Then you can take those names and telephone numbers, dump them into sales dollars, and by what's today, Thursday? By next Friday, you'll be rolling, making phone calls.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We enroll to the sales dialers. Then we go to YouTube and is that a how-to guide, step-by-step guide to
Yes.
set up your
Yes.
voicemail?
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube after you set up through sales dollars. They've got training videos that'll teach you how to do everything, how to set up everything on YouTube.
Okay.
So go to their YouTube channel. It'll show you how to set up a campaign, how to set up the follow-up emails, how to set up the on-hold messages. Everything is right there, step by step. Now, another thing you might want to do, now, if you want to spend just a little bit of money, is have 2 monitors. I don't know how many monitors most of you are using. I've got 3 monitors on my desk at home. So what I do is I have my laptop, which is what we're looking at here. I've got another monitor over here on my left, and I've got another monitor over here to my right. So if I'm watching a training video, I can watch the YouTube video and stop it on my laptop and do everything while I've got 2 things going on. But I use 3 for my business. That's just what I use. You can get those pretty cheap, an extra monitor. What you might want to do is look up your city, whatever city you're in, look up FreeCycle, FreeCycle. So like Sheree, for you, it'd be like Chicago FreeCycle. And what that is a group that you can join. And when people post that they're giving away a monitor, a computer monitor, they'll post. And if you're the first one that responds, then you go pick up their monitor. It's free for you. I got 2 big Dell flat screen monitors that somebody left on their porch for me, and they were free. It didn't cost me anything for them. I like free. Free is a beautiful word. Okay, any other questions?
Stuff.
Say that again?
Good stuff.
Oh, okay, good. All right,
Thank you,
so
Robert.
Vertus, let's go back to you for just a minute. Your listings that you got, I want to go back to what we talked about before. You said that you have 15 listings. Half of those were in person. The other half were through DocuSign. Tell me how that process was through DocuSign.
Oh, it was real simple. I mean, they were referrals, so I just did everything over the phone. Did CMA? Everything was done electronically and over the phone, and I just each emailed their listing agreement and the disclosures. They signed them, got them right back to me, and I got them on signed up in the yard within a couple of days.
And were they happy about the process?
Oh yeah, they like the ease of the process. My only, those were second homes, so it is a little easier to do it that way.
Could you see yourself doing that on somebody that you've never met?
I could, but my question would be is, establishing rapport, because there's a big trust factor when you're doing it. So I guess my question is, the objections that you're going to get from a person that shows up on the front doorstep versus someone that talks to them over the phone.
When I first started in real estate, I went with this brokerage. Red is their big color. I'm not going to mention the brokerage that it was with, but they love the color red. And I was talking to the broker, and I was asking her how she does business, because she was doing a crazy amount of business. And I said, how are you getting all these listings? And she told me that she has people that came to her office. And I said, how do you get people to come to your office? Don't you have to go out there? She said, I ask them. And I thought about that for years, thinking, how can I get into a situation where I can get people to agree to let me list their house without going there? So I just started asking. And it was crazy. You know, you just tell them this is the way you do it. You email them the paperwork. They sign it through DocuSign. They hit submit and you're done. It's crazy because, you know, nowadays with technology being the way people do business, to me, in my mind now, I think it's a waste of time to drive out to a listing appointment. It's just a complete waste. For some of you, you're thinking, oh my God, how in the world do you do that? Well, you have to ask. If you don't ASK, you're not going to GET. Very simple. Brian Tracy said that. I just plagiarized him. John Shelby, going back to you for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you think you could easily get more listings if you started doing stuff through DocuSign?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, all the iBuyer programs are doing it. You know, I mean, when you look at Open Door and OfferPad and all that, it's no different than any of those iBuyer programs that are successful.
And how do you think the perception would be to the seller if you did everything through DocuSign and you added a Zoom meeting with them to talk about their listing, like we're doing right now?
I think the Zoom meeting is probably, you know, it depends on the client on if they're tech savvy or not. But I think it's beneficial for sure.
Valerie, you being brand new, like how new are you, by the way?
I got my license in November.
Okay, so you're kind of new. You're 6 months old at least. How do you feel about the idea of not driving to a listing and doing everything through DocuSign, Zoom meetings? Do you think you would have a problem with that?
I don't think so. I wonder if the owners, how well the owners like that, because I kind of feel like they want to see me in person.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my question for you. Are you a realtor or are you a professional visitor?
A realtor.
So do you get paid to go visit with people?
No.
Do you want to set yourself apart as a person who is big on technology, or do you want to be like everybody else?
Well, honestly, I'm not big on technology. I don't know a whole lot about it.
It's time to get big.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm getting better.
Because if you don't, and here's the way I look at it. You know, I look at people's listings and they're posting pictures, and I'm looking at their pictures thinking, oh my God, these pictures are crazy. I mean, they're so good.
Well, that's another thing. How would I get pictures if I don't go out there?
We're going to talk about that in later classes. That's going to be a simple thing to do. Remember when we got you to take care of Vertus's listing?
Yes.
And you're going to get all the buyers and you're going to put it in your MLS? I need you to go take pictures.
What if it's in my MLS?
The pictures in MLS? You can't.
No, like if my listing is here in my MLS, but I do everything through DocuSign, but I don't go out to the house to take the pictures.
You can either A, get a photographer to go out there and take pictures, or B, you can go take pictures yourself.
Okay.
But how much time have you saved if you didn't drive to the appointment to look around their house and go, oh, this is your bedroom. Oh, this is your kitchen. I mean, what a time waster that is. They know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just think to cut down on time and to be effective, you can cut down on a lot of wasted time by doing everything using technology. What I do personally, y'all might not agree with this. When I work with for several owners, I get them to take pictures and send them to me. And then I've got a program where I can fix the pictures. I can doctor them up. And if they're really bad, then I'll send somebody out there to take pictures for me. But I'm going to try to get the seller involved on that process myself so that I don't have to do it. So you got to take advantage. And I'm telling you, if you don't get trained the right way in 10 years, what I'm talking about this is going to be old news. I mean, what we're talking about right now in 10 years is the way everybody does it. And we're going, Robert's still talking about that? We've done that years ago because this is where it's going. John Shelby said it. He said where all these companies are going. All right, so next week, if you have the money, sign up for sales dollars. If you don't, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But I think your business will explode if you'll invest in money and get sales dollars set up so that you can start making a lot of calls. Next week, we're going to talk about how to get free leads. Sherry is going to lead that class because she knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. Yes, Sherry? Yes? No, she's not going to lead the class. All right, so that's y'all's homework. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you next Thursday. I'll still be in Hawaii next Thursday. I'm sorry that you got to deal with me in a different state.
Stop bragging.
Okay, sorry. I'm only in Waikiki. It's a very boring place. It's really ugly here. I got to go to the beach. Y'all have a great
It's a
day.
first world problem. Yeah.
Do what?
It's a first
I
world.
used to live there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for 3 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got a Jeep, so we're going cruising today.
I've
All
got
right.
a
And pictures.
All right. Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.